In 1958, the German bark tall ship, the Gorch Fock, was launched that year. Now, 1958 was an exciting year when we think about NASA. That year, President Dwight D. Eisenhower and the U.S. Congress passed legislation to create NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, which would be responsible for coordinating America's activities in space. This was very much part of what would become the space race. NASA was created as a response to the Soviet Union's launch of its first satellite, the Sputnik 1. Priding itself on being at the forefront of technology, the United States immediately began developing a response that would signal the start of what became known as the US-Soviet space race. Now, while this was taking place well above Earth's levels, we also have Elvis Presley being inducted into the US Army. In March of that year, he started his day as the king of rock and roll, but ended it as a lowly buck private in the United States Army. And he received what may be considered the most well-publicized haircut in the history of the armed forces.
My name is Elmer Brownkessel, Captain and the Commanding Officer of sail training ship Gorch Fock from the German Navy. Gorch Fock was a poet. His original name was Johann Kienau. He pretty much published all his books under his pseudonym Gorch Fock. The name was not chosen by the Nazis, it was chosen by the democratic government in 1932. And that is the reason why we still allowed to keep this name as the name for the sail training ship of the Federal Republic of Germany. And we are very proud to carry this name. The history of the sister ship is very special. The first sister ship was built in Germany. It was the Gorch Fock I in 1933. After Gorch Fock I was built, the need for more sailing ships was there in the German Navy. That was 1936, where the Horst Wessel was built, which is now the Eagle. 1937, the Albert Leo Schlageter, which is now the Sarkisch from Portugal. And the fourth one was built, but it was already designated for Romania, the Mircea, because Romania was at the time part of the Axis, so partner of Germany. And there are four. Of course, after World War II, Germany had to give all the ships as a war prize to the United States. The Gorch Fock I was sunk in the vicinity of Stralsund, was salvaged by the Russians, and she's now a museum ship in Germany, and we have just 4 active sister ships. The decision was made then in Germany after we were allowed to have armed forces again, and we got a navy in '55, that Germany would like to have a sailing ship. And since the plans and the design was very good, the German government made the decision we take the plans from the Albert Leo Schlageter and the Horst Wessel in order to build the Gorch Fock II. And that's the reason why we as sailing ship Gorch Fock exist right now. And when we started our voyage in Kiel on the 7th of April, which is quite a long time ago, we had a challenging and long voyage across the Atlantic. It took us 21 days to sail with the trade winds from Las Palmas, Gran Canaria to Bermuda. And that was a very interesting but also challenging journey for us. The maximum speed for this ship under sails is roughly about 17 to 18 knots. But that's just under stormy conditions where we have really bad weather, strong winds, then we are able to make 17 to 18 knots. But that's a rare occasion. And under engine we are able to make approximately 12 knots. The Five Sister race was conducted the first and last time in 1976 from Bermuda to Newport, Rhode Island, but it was not finished. It was terminated since there was a collision between 2 of the sister ships. And in the moment of the collision, Gorch Fock was in the lead. So we won the trophy, but it's now our goal, of course, to defend the trophy. So we conduct the race from New York to Boston. Sailing from New York to Boston is very special, so we are really happy to conduct the race for sail to 50. For me, the most important thing is not winning the trophy. Of course, I would like to win the trophy, the crew would like to win the trophy, but doing it again, that is the most important thing, that these 4 sister ships assemble together and conduct the race, which was the last time conducted for the 200th anniversary of the United States. That is the big thing for me, and I think also for the other captains and the other crews. We teach how to sail, but that's not the important thing that the cadets have to learn. Here it's more about camaraderie, teamwork, courage, resilience, and I think there's no better place in the whole world where you can pretty much teach these goals than on a sail training ship. And especially for the future naval officers, it's important that they learn these things in a maritime environment. And a sailing ship like Gorch Fock is actually made for this. And if you make it here on Gorch Fock, then you're pretty much ready to go to take every job in the German Navy.
I'm Lieutenant Meyer, the navigation officer of sail training ship Gorch Fock, and I'm going to show you a few highlights on this ship. We're here at the chart house. This is the place where our navigator works. Here you can see one of our paper charts. This is very old school, but the paper charts are still in use. There you can see a sextant. This thing is very important to get a position. You can use it to shoot stars, and then you can calculate with the angle of the stars and to the earth and find the position. The bell is original and it was built in 1958. Yeah, and you can see it's freshly polished and it's same beautiful like the ship. Normally when we stay at sea, we need to ring the bell every half hour, and that's the watch for the sailors. Every ship needs to have one of these bells. The figurehead in front of the ship is an albatross. It's a beautiful, huge bird, and the bird is flying long distances over the ocean.
There are a lot of similarities between all the tall ships and especially the sister ships. Of course, every ship has a little different focus on training and the way we do training. And here, sail training is for us important and is key for everything. And I think that makes Gorch Fock a little bit special, but we have more in common with the other ships than things that divide us. We all know that the 4th of July is a special day for the United States of America, and to sail down the Hudson River, to pass the Statue of Liberty, it's something special also for us.